In some ways along the Colorado Front Range, we have to look at this as a year-round fire season.
Yeah, right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, fire danger is now an everyday concern. We have team coverage breaking down how to better understand the risks, ways to protect yourself, and if and when the worst happens.
Plus, a closer look at how our state's lawmakers are working to help first responders and wildfire recovery as we brace for an already active fire season.
Yeah, we always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. We just need some rain. We got to get some rain in here. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Jessica Crawford.
So let's get right to it. It is a Denver 7 Weather Action Day. Lisa, a lot of high winds and a high fire danger out there again today.
Enjoy the calm this morning while we can, right? Those winds are going to kick up here within the next few hours. It is a Denver 7 Weather Action Day for the high fire danger. Wind speeds right now we're at about 5 to near 15 miles per hour. So it's fairly calm out there this morning. But as those winds kick up, all of these alerts are going to go into effect. We have here in pink, it covers not only Denver, Fort Collins and Greeley, but it's underneath this high wind warning covering all of eastern Colorado. High wind warning covers a good portion of the Front Range too and metro area. Wind speeds upwards of around 60 to near 70 miles per hour. So as far as temperatures go, that's great. But again, it's going to be that strong wind that's helping to fuel and bring in some warm weather. We're looking at upper 70s to low 80s this afternoon, and then we'll drop down to about 70 by 7 o'clock. Highs are going to be anywhere from 82 to 85 over the northeastern corner of the state, 60s in the mountains. So coming up, we're going to take a look at the cold front that hits tonight. We'll talk more about the wind speeds and the timing of when those are going to pick up, Colette, here in just a few minutes.
Today, the governor and the Colorado Division of Fire Prevention will release the 2022 wildfire outlook for Colorado. In the last 2 years, we have seen 3 of the largest wildfires in Colorado's history and the most devastating urban fire right here in the metro area. You'll note 3 of these fires didn't start in the summertime. 2 of them were during the fall and 1 took place during the winter. Experts say we're now in a year-round fire season.
The weather doesn't look at the calendar. So for the rest of us where it may feel like this is spring and we shouldn't have wildfire, unfortunately, that's just how it is along the Colorado Front Range.
We've been saying that, the Front Range is primed for these types of events. We've always had winds. We always have dry fuels really from the late summer going all the way through until green up in the spring. So that potential has always existed. It's always just taken that one spark or that one thing to really establish such a catastrophic event.
And we saw that catastrophic Marshall Fire in December in Superior in Louisville.
So if it feels like we've had more red flag warnings this year, it's because we have. And some weather experts are concerned about it because we don't want to be numb to these alerts. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us now. How do we keep from these red flag alerts from just being background noise?
So experts hope that never happens. They say these high winds and the intensity of them should be enough for people to take that fire danger seriously. But of course, as you can probably imagine, they're going to be kicking up here pretty soon. And before that fire comes, usually come those red flag warnings. And officials say, like you just mentioned, if you think you've seen more and heard of more of those, it's because you have.
The criteria has not changed. We have seen a record number for the month of April. We've been issuing these since 2006. And so far this month, including today's, we're at 12 red flag events, which is a record for the month of April.
Now, these red flag warnings, they get issued when there's high fire concern. So that usually means humidity is expected to be at 15% or less. And those wind gusts are expected to be at least 25 miles an hour for 3 hours or longer. Because there have been a record number of these warnings this month, officials say they're aware of what they're calling this warning fatigue, though they say they do not let that influence decisions or criteria for any kind of warning. The goal is always, of course, to keep people safe and keep them informed.
The message is actually quite simple. We don't necessarily need you to take specific actions with every warning. A lot of things are just kind of a one-time or maybe twice per season kind of thing. Make sure that you have a go bag packed with essential supplies for a few days. Make sure that your property is clear, has decent defensible space, gutters are clear of leaves, and also make sure that you're signed up for emergency alerts.
And coming up in the next half hour, we're diving into why climatologists say these are happening more and more often. We're live in Boulder County this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Veronica, thank you. Something to keep in mind here. The fire restrictions right now could affect your weekend plans. Boulder, Jefferson, and Douglas counties already have stage 1 fire restrictions in place. That means there's no open burning of any kind. Arapahoe and Adams counties have stage 2 fire restrictions in place. Those prohibit campfires and barbecues. And if you smoke, that's only allowed inside an enclosed space without vegetation.
Well, it is now confirmed this morning that 3 recent fires along the Front Range were human-caused. Boulder County says researchers at CU who were flying a drone for severe weather studies caused the Table Mountain fire Wednesday. The drone crashed, causing a battery to pop out and ignite. The fire caused evacuations, but thankfully no homes were threatened. Boulder deputies also determined someone started the in-car fire near the Bear Canyon Trail. The sheriff's office is still working to identify a suspect, though. And the Duck Pond fire, which sparked over the weekend near Gypsum, was also determined to be human-caused, although the specifics are still under investigation. But 95 acres burned in the Duck Pond fire, including some campsites. And the National Park Service says between unattended campfires to equipment malfunctions and more, 85% of wildfires are human-caused. Let's send it over to Colette Bordelon for a look at human-caused traffic out there, if any.
Human-caused traffic, and there's not much. We really just have a pretty skyline right now. Not a whole lot of people on the road. Take a look at one of our CDOT cameras. This is there by Westminster. You can see if you're out there, you're not fighting with much traffic, but if you are out there, make sure you're not throwing out any cigarette butts or anything like that. As everyone was just talking about, very dangerous day for anything like that. Take a look at your drive times through the metro. We are all in green this morning. A little bit of slowing if you're headed up from Colorado Springs to the Denver area right here along 25 North. Around 28 minutes, but really nothing compared to when that GAP project was in full swing and you were having to deal with all that construction.
Colette, thank you. All of us need to be on our guards for days like this, but we've learned how local emergency responders changed their tactics for red flag days. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live near South Boulder Creek.
And crews are always ready to respond, but they pay even more attention to these red flag days. And days that we're seeing this high fire danger, they have more fire personnel ready to respond in case a fire does break out. You might even see them patrolling neighborhoods or moving engines to different locations. And this increased staffing gives them not only the ability to respond to any fires that may pop up, but also any other emergencies that require a response. And they also say that on days like this, everyone has to do their part. So avoid mowing your lawn, parking on dry grass, or using power tools that can create a spark. And since we never know if and when a fire may pop up, make sure that you do have an evacuation plan ready just in case. Live in Boulder this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Christian, thank you. And as she just mentioned, some departments have the time to make preparations and bring on more staff, but that's a luxury that most volunteer fire departments just don't have. People with the Sugarloaf Fire Protection District train all year long. They're working in more remote parts of Boulder County where there are no city or county services. In Sunshine Canyon, there's only one escape route if a fire was to come up County Road 83. We've told you this before, but we want to remind you it's critical for everyone to help prevent fires. That means no illegal campfires, which is the biggest problem that the Sugarloaf Fire Protection District has been seeing lately. Well, more than half of Colorado fire departments rely on volunteers to fill their ranks.
Yeah, not an easy ask for them. It costs the volunteers their money and time. And fire departments are seeing fewer volunteers. We told you this week, state lawmakers are trying to help ease those departments with 2 bills. One provides $5 million for better equipment and more training. The second would provide money for mental health resources.
People don't think about that much, but we've had fires in the state where we've lost firefighters, and there's some real behavioral health issues there. And this bill puts in $1 million towards that. But it's the training and get the equipment, everything they need.
Yeah, breaking down the numbers, it cost about $4,000 per firefighter for all the gear for structural fires. A lot of volunteer fire departments have to rely on hand-me-downs from other agencies. These bills would help ease that burden.
We'll be monitoring these conditions throughout the day, and you can follow along on air. We also have a 24/7 weather stream on the Denver 7 Plus app for your streaming devices. Homes are about to get even more expensive. The new interest rate increase the Fed says is needed to slow inflation.
Meanwhile, our fire coverage continues this morning. The new technology that could sound the alarm about fires faster.